Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is my third time doing this video, but we are talking about John Harbaugh because he just went to the New York Giants. And he just went to the New York Giants, and this is our third time recording this video. But I am still excited for the New York Giants. That only took 2 hours, and I gotta go. But folks, welcome back. Let me pull up the article we've discussed a couple of times here. We're talking John Harbaugh because I love this hire. It reminds me of Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears. Obviously, different natures. The reason is just, first off, I'm a Chicago kid, as you can tell. But the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants, very historic franchises, very successful franchises. Two of the biggest cities in America. I mean, New York City is the biggest city in America. So, huge markets, huge sports towns, or sports cities, sports cities, I should say. And then, like, Coughlin and the Giants have been good, or the Giants haven't been good since Coughlin in 2015, or around there. And the Bears haven't been good, a little bit way worse than the New York Giants, at least in my opinion. But you get the point. Two very historic teams. Everybody, people want to play there, but whether you're looking at ownership like the Chicago Bears, you're looking at management, you're looking at coaching, they just have not been successful in the last decade or so. So Chicago goes out there, they hire Ben Johnson, offense. Look at the Bears now, they just beat my damn Packers on Saturday night, and now this is almost similar to Mike McDonald going to like the Seattle Seahawks, actually. I love Harbaugh. I love both the Harbaughs. I probably like Jim a little bit better, but hey, it's not an issue. One thing Harbaugh has done, usually a very good job of his hiring coordinators, and that is the New York Giants' first step of business. And I believe Todd Monken, the report is that he might be joining Harbaugh to be their offensive coordinator, which I do like, and I do like that for Jackson Dart. Giants fans, maybe you can shed some light in the comments here. I haven't made a Giants video in a couple of months over on the Will Upton channel. And by the way, welcome to this channel. Welcome back. We've only got 39 subs, so probably welcome. We're doing these kind of video diaries, or I actually like to compare them to like a fireside chat, but for the NFL, we're talking like kind of niche stuff, and it's my face. So, yeah. We're trying to get to 100 subs on this channel, so a like, comment, sub, it all goes a very long way, so thank you for watching. We talked about Tomlin a couple of days ago. We talked about the Packers game, and it's the off-season, or about to be the off-season. I just got a haircut. Last time I got a haircut and went on camera, all the comments were like, wow, they botched your haircut, and I liked it, and I like this. So, the whole Harbaugh leaving Baltimore thing is kind of interesting because in hindsight, you probably should have gotten rid of Harbaugh and moved forward with Mike McDonald a couple of seasons ago, but obviously that would have been an extremely big move, and they just didn't do that. So, he goes out there, he gets Zach Orr, and the whole Ravens defense was super. This was just a weird year for the Baltimore Ravens. I don't usually cover this team very closely. I'm not usually watching Baltimore very closely, although I do like Harbaugh. I do like Lamar. I've got both like two cousins that are diehard Ravens fans. My family roots for the Ravens in a lot of those games because of my family from Baltimore that likes the Baltimore Ravens. So I just don't know. I'm not an AFC guy, I guess is basically the way to summarize it. But Baltimore had an odd year. Lamar Jackson being injured. The defense was so injured early on in the season. There was a retirement. It was just a weird year. Kind of similar, in my opinion, to like the Detroit Lions, where there were expectations. There were very high expectations. And for a multitude of different reasons, they just fizzled out. And both teams had a shot. They both had opportunities, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out, and Harbaugh gets canned. So, 18 years, 10 playoff berths, 6 AFC North titles, which is not an easy feat, and a Super Bowl victory. He became the best head coaching free agent since, well, it's hard to think of a candidate with Harbaugh's resume. I'm reading this article, by the way, from Ian O'Connor and Diana Rossini from The Athletic that I've mentioned a couple of times. Folks, it's 2026. I don't know how, anytime I pick up a camera, this is what we're doing this on my phone. You should be watching this crappy little $50, $60 microphone. I guess it's got a mic attachment. It says it's got a mic plug-in, it's got an attachment. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I hope you enjoy this, because I like making these on my phone because the quality's better. That's why I went and bought a dang camera. But it's crazy technical, even in today's day and age. Let's see here. I am a little bit thrown. Harbaugh is coming to a team that has, where am I looking? Here we go, finally. After parting ways with Coughlin in 2015, the Giants have gone 55-109, giving them a .336 win percentage that ranks only ahead of the New York Jets in that span. So change is coming, change is here, and we've seen how important the quarterback, or we've seen how important the coaching is. Obviously, you need a quarterback, but, going back to that Bears example, they drafted Caleb Williams last season. They hire Ben Johnson. He gets his guys into the building. He gets his coordinators into the building. And look at the Chicago Bears now. What I do like about the New York Giants and Harbaugh making this move is it's right away. And in the back of my head, I feel like I'm missing somebody. I feel like a coach has already been hired, even though I know Harbaugh is the first hire of this cycle. It's very important. I'm going to tell you why. He now is his pick at the litter of coordinators, whether we're talking, and I'm just going to name some coordinators here, whether or not they're going to get a head coaching gig or a coordinator gig. We're talking Brian Flores. We're talking Chris Shula. We're talking, of course, my mind just blanked on every head coach candidate. We're talking Robert Saleh. God damn, dude. You know what I mean. You get your pick at the coordinators. And it's very important because, as I mentioned, Mike Macdonald, so the Ravens have this phenomenal defense with Mike Macdonald at the defensive coordinator spot. They lose him, right? He ends up going to be the Seattle Seahawks head coach 2 years ago, okay? Well, here's the thing, and I should have fact-checked this in one of our 3 times making this video. There were either 9 or 11 coaches hired that cycle. I'm just going to say, we'll just call it in the middle. We'll say there were 10 coaches hired 2 years ago, okay? Similar to this year. Mike Macdonald was one of, if not the last hire. I think he was the 9th head coach hire of that 2023 coaching cycle, or was it 2024, I guess, technically. So what does that mean? He doesn't get his pick. He doesn't get his first choices. Right? Unless he's bringing somebody from Baltimore with him, you don't get your pick at coordinators, your ideal top prospects or your ideal top guys. Once again, the Brian Floreses, the Robert Salehs, whether or not these guys end up getting coaching gigs, you get what I'm saying here. So Mike Macdonald has to hire Ryan Grubb. And because he was the last head coach hired of that cycle, he had to get somebody out of college. And I believe he was a Washington guy, and it just didn't pan out. Like, I would imagine, actually, most people don't even remember, outside of Seahawks fans or just diehard NFL dudes, who Seattle's offensive coordinator was last year. Like, right now it's Clint Kubiak. So Clint Kubiak's name is in head coaching talks. And last year was Ryan Grubb. And the Seattle Seahawks offense was nothing what it looked like this season. Not even a little bit. Obviously, a lot of differences in Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. But you get what I'm saying. So I like that they went out there. They did this right away. Let's sign this deal. He was scheduled to meet with, I believe, Tennessee. And he's like, I'm a New York Giant. I'm a New York Giant head coach. And it fits. It just fits. Like Harbaugh in Los Angeles, Jim in Los Angeles, I think that just fits. Ben Johnson in Chicago, I think that fits. Harbaugh in New York, John Harbaugh in New York, I think that just fits. And so then we got to talk a little bit about this roster. It looks like, once again, Todd Monken is going to be joining him, although this is not confirmed, and I don't know when you guys are going to be seeing this video. It's currently Thursday, January 15th. Todd Monken's a really good OC. You don't have to worry necessarily about him getting pegged. I think you have these guys like Josh McDaniels, and you have these guys like Vic Fangio, and it's just like they're built to be coordinators. Right, and I think that's what Todd Monken is, and if he's following Harbaugh to New York, that's really good because, with Lamar, number 4 in EPA per pass over the last 3 years, he was the OC with Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson won MVP, led the NFL in pass rating with him as his coordinator. Oh, we're down to 10%, so I'll have to wrap this up. I plan on editing these, but it's middle of January, and we're talking about head coaches and stuff like that. And I also feel like YouTube, and I prefer watching more off the cuff stuff like this. But let me know if you like edits. And you need to clear it up. Anyways, Jackson Dart, 2,300 passing yards, about 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He had about 500 rushing yards and 9 total rushing scores. A lot of touchdowns, 63.7% passes. Obviously dealt with a lot of injuries, concussions, and they're going to have to figure that out. They're going to have to figure that out. He's going to have to adjust the way he plays football. And to be honest with you, Lamar and Todd Monken and Harbaugh, that's what they did. Lamar, and you can argue it's whether it's good or it's bad, sustainability, longevity, all that fun stuff, all that jazz, all those buzzwords. They did make Lamar's not really a rusher anymore. He's not like rush first. Jalen Hurts, same thing. They don't run him that much. So they're healthy. I guess Lamar wasn't healthy this season, but Jalen Hurts was healthy. And something to note, because we all know Jackson Dart needs to slide more. Dable wanted him to slide more. Every Giants fan this past season wanted him to slide more. Ole Miss fans wanted him to slide more. And he needs to slide more, and I don't know if he's gonna. But Monken and Harbaugh will figure that out. The defense, I think, is really good. I'm curious to see who his defensive coordinator is going to be. The defense statistically was horrible. I mean, they were a horrible statistical defense, but I think there's a ton of talent there. Injuries, like the whole Kayvon thing, I guess didn't really work out. Another injury season. But Abdul Carter, I know he only had like 4 sacks this past year, but I believe he was top 10 in pressures, quarterback pressures. There's talent on that front seven, and there's just talent on that defense. Offensively, it's time to build up the bottom of the roster. Offensive line, round out that wide receiver room, because when you have a healthy Malik Neighbors, it's a game changer. When you have a healthy Cam, it's a game changer. Healthy Andrew Thomas, it's a game changer. The biggest thing with this Giants offense is literally health. And so I've got their draft picks here. They've got only $5.2 million cap right now. They've got the 5th pick in this year's draft. They also have their own picks in round 2, 4, 5, and 6. They've got 2 extras in the 6th round. And they don't have their 3rd rounder because of the Dart trade up from last season. So they've got plenty of draft capital, $5.2 million in cap space. I don't worry about numbers. I'll let the owners write the checks and make their moves, because money is not really that big of an issue if you don't want it to be. If there's a will, there's a way. And Malik Neighbors just coming back to this offense is a complete game changer, because they play you so differently. Like, let's say I'm Jackson Dart, game 1 against Los Angeles, his first game. They're running 2 high shell safeties, right? So Malik Neighbors can't burn the top off of them. What does that mean? They're able to run the football a little bit better, right? They've got 2 safeties back, 2 high shell safeties, okay? So you're able to run the ball a little bit more. Malik Neighbors is out there. Wandale's out there. But what happens is Malik Neighbors goes down with an injury, so what happens? Oh, we're going to bring that safety. Brian Flores did this a lot. We're going to bring that safety to the line of scrimmage. We're going to bring that safety over into the box. And you're going to have to throw the football. And we're going to blitz you, and we're going to blitz you, and we're going to blitz you, and we're going to confuse you. And you're going to have to throw the football to guys like Wandale and other players on the roster, because Malik Neighbors ain't here, baby. So it became an issue at the end of the season, or once Malik got hurt. That's it. That's all I got. Hopefully this works. Hopefully you guys see this video. I love making these. I really do. And the first 2 did pretty decent. So thank you guys for watching. I got to get going here soon. So I will see you later. And let me know your thoughts on John Harbaugh to the New York Giants. Peace.